Well, a couple hours after the Canada South Africa game, did my bracket earlier. Now I'm going to record my what's it called group stage reactions. Forgot what they were recording there for a second. Anyways, yeah, lots happened. Knockouts going thick and fast. Shout out to Canada for beating South Africa. 1-0. Credit South Africa though, and we'll start off with them. I believe because they were the if I can get to the fixtures. And then their performance. Yeah. So, or yeah, we'll start off with them just because they recently played, and then I guess we'll work our way backwards. This game, so South Africa, South Korea. Obviously, the whole drama going this game. South Africa need a win to progress. South Korea just need a draw. And most likely qualify as 4 points, which improved in the end. It'd be enough to qualify, but South Korea, again, I think lackluster in this game. And South Korea found the breakthrough through Maseko. The edge out a 1-0 win. South Korea, I just think lacked any urgency in this game. To be honest, this result kind of baffles me because, again, playing for a draw is kind of weird. Like playing not to lose is weird. But I think from South Korea, just lackluster, sense of urgency. I think there's a sense from the manager and the team that 3 points minus 1 goal difference would be enough. And even before a ball was kicked, I would assume so. But again, they decide. I guess maybe the manager felt they can roll the dice a bit with the third place teams and end up backfiring on them. So yeah, but huge credit to South Africa for making it through to the next round. This one, Czechia need to win. Huge ask for them to go to Mexico. Mexico already qualified, already guaranteed top the group. And playing in the Azteca, for me, Czechia, one of the most disappointing teams at this World Cup. I talked about in the last video, they cannot play with the ball on the ground. This team can only create if the ball is in the air off a set piece, and even then, that's lackluster. Mexico, pretty much rotated team, or half rotated team, came out, blitzed Czechia 3-0. Honestly, for a team, again, that needed to win, to qualify, just no urgency, and then I think it was either this goal or this goal. One of the goals was just a free goal where you just see the guy like calamity for the keeper, and then the defender just hits it back into the keeper or the defender. It just looks like a goal you score on FIFA. Really poor showing for me. Czechia probably, given the standards of this group, probably I would say like bottom 3 teams in this World Cup based off performance and expectations. So yeah, we'll move up here at Bosnia. This game. Given the strength of the team, or the sense of the group rather, pretty much winner qualifies. Both there need to be a winner in this game. A draw will eliminate both teams. In Bosnia, just showing the quality. Qatar, just a poor side. Again, with the Asian teams, if you just take away Japan and Australia to some degree, I know we'll get into them in a second, but there's just a massive gap in quality between them, between Japan and, like I said, a little bit of Australia and the rest of the Asian teams in the continent. Oh, and just double back on Korea. Like, only look good against Czechia, who I think shows how poor Czechia were. Because I told you I don't remember my assessment of Korea. I think I ended up finishing bottom of the group. I just thought they were like, people group Korea, Japan together. 2 separate teams. But anyways, getting back to this game. We're getting slightly off topic. Yeah, Bosnia get the job done. They're a sub a match against the U.S. in the next round. Yeah, Qatar sent home. Disappointing tournament from them. And switching to Canada, huge game for Canada in this one as they started this game. They went to this game top of the group. A draw would be enough to go see them play or finish top of the group and play the rest of their games in Canada. However, Switzerland made a difference. Manzambi again, proving to be their brightest star of the tournament so far. Makes a difference yet again in this game. Canada just come up short. Promise David rather, gets a goal. Maybe to spark a bit of a resurgence from Canada, but it wasn't enough. And Switzerland get all 3 points. And they'll be playing Algeria, I believe. So, yeah. We're on this group. Morocco, Haiti. So, Morocco, a chance to top the group here if they can better Brazil's result against Haiti. And Haiti, again, stunned Morocco early on with a bit of a free goal. Own goal, went down to own goal for Bono. Morocco finally equalized through Hakimi. And then Isidore scores, I think, in my opinion, the goal of the tournament so far. With then Morocco instantly respond. And at this point, through the game, you'll see here Morocco make 3 changes. They still have Diaz, Sabari, and Sabari off. So I thought from there, Morocco kind of conceded, like, okay, we're just going to rest players. Like, we're not going to go through. Like, for me, I didn't expect Morocco to find the winner after those two came off, but, credit to the rest of the team. Ended up finding the winner, and eventually the exclamation point through Yassine to secure all 3 points for Morocco. Still not enough to secure second as Brazil ran out 3-0 winners against Scotland. And it starts off with massive error at the back from, I believe, was it McKenna? Yeah, error at the back. Vinicius Jr. shows the composure, puts it into an empty net. Then Brazil, Vinny again, another mistake. I believe it was it? I think it was McLean this time, right, with the error, I believe. Luckily, he gets ruled back for a foul, which I think, I don't think, I think it's a bit harsh, if I'm being honest, but again, Brazil again, up the other end, Vinicius at the back post, scores a header, and then Cunha makes it 3. Brilliant bit of play from Bruno Guimaraes, but if I'm a Scotland fan, I'm massively disappointed. Scotland going into this game, I think you expected this team just to go out fighting at least, like being Brazil, getting a result against Brazil is always gonna be a tough ask, but to go out 3-0 and not score a single goal, even throughout the whole tournament, only score your only goal against Haiti, I think you have to be disappointed as a Scotland fan. And again, the whole conversation this week was, what do Scotland need to qualify? I'm saying losing 3-0, like if you were to lose 1-0 and go out the way, the third place teams have fallen where, 4 points was really needed and you had neutral goal difference or -1 goal difference to Scotland and you went out, I think it would just be, a bit unlucky, but, losing 3-0 to Brazil, only scoring 1 goal, I think it's a failure of a tournament for Scotland despite the massive task they had in their hand with Morocco and Brazil in the group. And, Haiti for them, they scored their first World Cup goal and scored, one of the best goals of the tournament so far, I think. For them, it's just an achievement to be here, and credit to them for putting up a fight or somewhat of a fight against these teams. So, yeah, Curacao, Ivory Coast. In this game, Ivory Coast need a win to, I believe, secure themselves at least into the knockout round. Because they started on 3 points. So, just to secure themselves second place at the minimum. Round 2-0 win against Curacao. Again, Curacao, talking to them, just massive achievement for them to be here. Ivory Coast looking pretty sharp. Nicolas Pepe getting on the score sheet. He ended up setting up a clash against Norway in the round of 32. And Ecuador, Germany, which is probably the game of the round if I had to, off the top of my head. Going into this game, Germany actually played, Nagelsmann brought his strongest starting 11. And Ecuador still early on through Sane. And from there, tough ask. Because again, as you see against Curacao, this team, I think, even in the game against Ivory Coast, they struggle for goals, they struggle for have clinical finishers up top, but showed a lot of resilience to get back in the game. Manuel Neuer, unfortunately, with some poor goalkeeping, as much of the legend he is, some really poor goalkeeping in this game. And Ecuador, off a corner through Gonzalo Plata, finds the winner, sending them through to the round of 32. Massive result for them. You can go check out my bracket, but I predict they'll do pretty well in the knockout phase. Japan, Sweden. Again, this game, Sweden just need a point. Japan potentially could have leapfrogged, I believe, Netherlands at this point, but both teams, end as a draw. I don't think neither team really wanted to risk much going into this. I think Japan was content with second. Sweden didn't want to fall into jeopardy enough amongst the third place teams. So I think at the end, ultimately, you saw the game kind of just fizzle out after both teams got their goals. Not really much to be said. A brilliant team goal from Japan and Alenga. Bit poor on the goalkeeper, but it's still a brilliant strike from him. And Tunisia, Netherlands. Netherlands get the job done. Tunisia off to the worst start imaginable. Can see 2 goals in 7 minutes. They get one back, but then Van Hecke, gets the insurance goal. And for me, Tunisia, like I said, I think alongside Czechia, I would say, in my opinion, I think I touched about in the last video, but with Tunisia, and my opinion in terms of how they qualified to all these tournaments, given their qualifying groups, whatever like that, all respect to Tunisia and people from Tunisia, but my opinion on the team, just really one of the poorest sides at the tournament, and it shows as 9 as the 9 other African teams in this tournament qualified to the round of 32. So yeah, Paraguay, Australia, both these teams need a point. Again, similar notion. Again, neither team want to fall into the jeopardy of the third place team. So I think you saw really lackluster games. No team's really risking anything. Almost feel like both teams kind of agreed to a draw. I feel like this is a common theme in this round. So again, maybe something for FIFA to look into with the format because, yeah, when you have like games like this, neither team's gonna really play, and you kind of get duds like this. And we'll get on to it later in terms of the final game here, just to preview a little bit more. Turkey, USA. So you saw a rotated U.S. team, Turkey playing for pride. I don't really think there's many takeaways from this game. I mean, obviously, like with the U.S., you want to win. And, you know, as a U.S. supporter, I'm not really too fussed about the result. Started off well. Trusty scored in the opening, 3 minutes. Turkey respond 7 minutes later, get the breakthrough. Berhalter comes on, scores, and Turkey with a last-minute winner. I think if anything for a takeaway for the U.S., it just shows you that the drop in quality from the first team to the reserve, the U.S. men's national team. I think it showed in the U.S. friendlies. When you have seen the U.S., usually for the friendlies, U.S. is competitive in the first half. As soon as you know the subs come on, then you see a massive drop off for Turkey. I guess somewhat of a redemption for them, but really ultimately very disappointing tournament for them. Many people predicted them top in the group, or at least definitely having a strong enough team to qualify for the knockout rounds. But again, just I guess a bit of redemption for them. France, Norway. Again, this one promised to be one of the best games of the group stage on paper. Norway started to rotate their team, and for me, I stand by that decision. Like I didn't make the decision, but I agree with the decision. Again, people were I think some creators were like, "Oh, you have the chance to top the group over France." You start your strongest 11. Well, there's no guarantee you're going to beat France. So if you end up beating France, then ultimately, you just add more mileage on your players in a sense. And you know, going down the routes of playing Sweden or Ivory Coast and knocking around, like sure, Sweden's an easier opponent on paper, but ultimately, I think Norway would back themselves against either team. And given the fact that this is your last opportunity for rest in the tournament, the games will only become more and more congested as the tournament progresses, and the fact that all these players are coming off long seasons, and we can say like the heat and the conditions in the U.S. I think it was a strategic decision by the manager to rotate the team. But regardless, Ousmane Dembele put an absolute show. First half hat trick. Pretty much all the goals were just copies of each other. He has arrived, and this France attack is looking as dangerous as ever. Like for me, like Elise was probably the man of the match in the first game. Mbappe against Iraq, and then Dembele in this game, looking unstoppable. And then Doué in the end chips him with a goal. Norway get one immediately after, I believe, Dembele's second, and Trent Larson misses a penalty. But I don't think there's too many takeaways from this game. Bar France looking good, and Norway, this is their second team. So yeah. Senegal, Iraq, huge game for Senegal. Started off the day on 0 points, -3 goal difference. Really need to get a result and win big. And luckily they got an early goal off a corner. Then get the red card from Iraq, and from then, as soon as the second half came, really piled on the goals onto Iraq, and it proved to be crucial in the end, as they're the only team, I believe, amongst the third place teams to finish on 3 points and go through. So really showed how important the goal difference was in this game, and the fact that they had to win 5-0 to really secure their spot into the next round. And it would have been a disappointment if you didn't see them in the round of 32, given the fact that, you know, they are, you know, whether you agree or not, AFCON champions, and they are one of the strongest teams in Africa. For Iraq, I think a lot of people are labeling them as one of the worst teams in the tournament. I mean, look at their group. I don't really know what the expectation for Iraq is to do in this group. Like, who would you expect Iraq to get at least a point off in this group? And for me, with Iraq, I don't think there's anything overly embarrassing. I mean, you could say they lost 5-0 in this game and they got a red card, but against France and Norway, they only lost by 3 goals apiece. And I think if you look at their actual play, I think for what's expected of them, I actually think they gave a little bit of a fight against at least France or Norway. Senegal, I mean, I think at that point, there's a bit, you know, you're playing for pride, but maybe you just want to go home, red card, last half of your World Cup. But yeah, I think Iraq just dealt a tough hand. I wouldn't really fault them too much for their performances given their own expectations going into the tournament. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. Cape Verde need to win or draw to secure qualification. Saudi Arabia had to win, and just Saudi didn't really provide enough. If anything, it was Cape Verde more likely to get the goal, and they're the ones pushing at the end of the game. Missed some big chances. You'd be surprised. I think they really should have won this game, I think, at the end. But yeah, huge credit to them. Nobody gave them a chance but myself. I think I'll do a full predictions video, but for me, I told you watch out for Cape Verde. They'll finish second in this group. And yeah, do that. Set up a match against Argentina. So historic moment for them. Massive achievement for them to be first ever World Cup fishing runners up in the group, qualifying to the knockout rounds. I believe. So the first time in a couple tournament iterations where you see a World Cup debut and qualify to the knockout rounds. So yeah, massive shout out to them. Spain, Uruguay. This is probably one of the worst games of the tournament so far. Not much being said. Musalera with another howler. Spain lackluster. I think with the Spanish team, you just still kind of question this attack a little bit. Like they looked good against Saudi, but Saudi are the poorest team in this group, and then against Cape Verde and even Uruguay, you wondered where the goals did come from, and it took a goalkeeper mistake. Yamal, still not up to speed, I guess. Like, doesn't really look that sharp. Uruguay lost their heads at the end through Canobio, gets sent off, and I told you going into this tournament, I thought Uruguay were going to be disappointing. I've had them finishing third because I knew Saudi were just bad. I still think like this underwhelming Uruguay team is still better than Saudi, and yeah, with Uruguay, a lot of noise. You had issues like Valverde calling out the manager, Bielsa choosing not to play any friendlies before the tournament, and ultimately just a very disappointing tournament from Uruguay. Arguably more disappointing than in 2022. And yeah, Spain topped the group into round of 32, but still not playing the best. I still think this team, it's looking. I'm clicking back on the game. It's reminding me a lot of the Spanish 28 team and the 2022 team, where very good on the ball, but you kind of question where's the end product, who's going to make the difference. And I think it's showing over reliance on Lamine Yamal to carry this attack, and the fact that players like Nico Williams, compared to where they were in the Euros, and even the absence of Morata, as ironic as that is, given Morata's stature in the game, I think it's showing because with Morata, at least you had a target man to aim for, and with Nico Williams, you definitely had someone who is also dynamic on the other wing to complement Yamal. So yeah, but I went over my bracket. I think the Spanish team, I don't think at the moment this looks like a team that can win the World Cup. So, yeah. Egypt, Iran. So Iran need a point at least to secure qualification. Looking at the lineups, I remember looking at the lineups this game. I thought Iran set up a little too defensive with five at the back. Because again, I feel like they really had to push the win, given the fact that at this point you were kind of seeing how the third place teams were starting to unfold. And I thought, again, they would need a win because I thought 3 points neutral goal difference, given the fact of like all the potential outcomes of the third place teams. They really had to go for it. And Egypt stunned them early on. Iran get back into the game. Taremi, actually, before they even get the equalizer, misses a penalty. But again, I think a bit of poor goalkeeping. Iran get a rebound, score off that. And from there, Egypt, I thought they'd push a little bit more to try to top the group. I think once Salah came off, really second half, they really dropped off, and for me, they were inviting a lot of pressure from Iran, like a dangerous amount. It was like they're trying to lose the game, and then a huge amount of chaos at the end. Iran thought they stole it late on, and then it was ruled offside. Crazy finish to the game. They finished with a draw, and then pretty much they had to wait and see if they were going to qualify for the next round. Egypt secured second in the group after Belgium smashed New Zealand 5-1. Again, New Zealand, they were the lowest ranked team going into this tournament. Not much expectation on them. They did secure a point in this group. Again, with Belgium, I think this is like these type of games is really the bread and butter you see in friendlies. Against teams, severely weaker opposition, they will batter them. But whenever Belgium play against a decent team, I think that's when they start to really struggle. And again, Troy started with 2 goals. I think he's had a good tournament for New Zealand, probably a bright spark for them. In their future, I think he can get a move to. I don't know where he currently plays. Actually, I'm just curious. He plays in Scotland, but might get a move to a bigger league. And for Belgium, they set up against Senegal. I had Belgium as dark horses going to this tournament. I don't think they are dark horses anymore. I'll be honest. I think this Belgian team is just lackluster, and I think you still have a question mark. I know they scored 5 goals in this game, but it was against the weakest team in the tournament. I think De Ketelaere underwhelming, and Lukaku, he did come on, make an impact off the bench, but I don't think he can be a proven starter given the fact the game against Iran wasn't that great. So I think questions all around for Belgium in terms of where they want to go forward. All right. So next up, Croatia, Ghana. This game, Croatia needed to get a winner or draw to go through. Ghana rated 4 points, pretty much secured, I believe. I mean, I think they ended up finishing third, but pretty much secured a place into the next round. Croatia, I think, again, I still have my opinion of this Ghana team. They're not that great. And Croatia, I think, just hadn't the experience and know how to just get the job done. It wasn't going to be pretty. But yeah, Sutures actually opened up the scoring with a long-range effort. Ghana get one back, which was initially, I think it was ruled offside live. And then, and then Croatia, a couple minutes later, find the winner. Enough to get them 3 points and finish second in the group. All right, Panama, England. Again, I think England do enough to get the job done, but I still think the questions are adding up for England in terms of if this team will actually realize its potential under Tuchel. Again, Panama set up in a back 5, low block. England struggled in the first half to break them down. Eventually it comes to Jude Bellingham, who gets goal off a corner, gets the assist to Kane, makes it 2-0. But again, with England, I just think underwhelming performance. Injuries to Reece James at right back. You're kind of looking at, now you're looking at Konsa at right back, Jet Spencer right back, who I just don't, you were to say Trent Alexander was at home and these two were playing right back for England. It would baffle you. Again, other issues with England, for me, I don't know. I think there's definitely an issue with the wingers. Like Saka doesn't really seem up to speed. I know he got an assist. It's off a corner, but Madueke, underwhelming. Rashford this game. I heard something on the commentary that he lost the ball 16 times this game, and probably it's ended up being more than that. And what's it called? Anthony Gordon hasn't proved well, and then I see the likes of Jordan Henderson coming on, which I don't understand. Like, what's the point for me? Why is Jordan Henderson here, and then why is he coming on before Mino? Like, I'm a City fan, and I'm advocating for Mino. It's I don't know, but yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of questions on England. I check out the other video to see where I have them going, but just as a hint, I think they're gonna crash out in a very disappointing fashion. So, all right, Colombia, Portugal. Definitely the pick of the lot going into. Norway, France is the pick of the lot, but this was probably the real pick of the lot. These two battling for top of the group. Portugal need to win in order to top the group, and again, for me, this was Colombia. Ultimately, I think they did enough to win the game, but again, it comes to the story of Colombia that they're very good at creating chances, but you just lack. Again, they're a very wasteful team. Lack of clinicality up top. Portugal, again. Topic after this game is Ronaldo, as usual. And again, I do think Ronaldo here, it looked like the game seemed to pass him by. High intensity game. And yeah, it really, playing with Ronaldo up top definitely slows you down, especially with Portugal trying to play in transition against Colombia. Colombia in this game actually missed their two fullbacks who have been, I think, crucial, especially Munoz has been crucial to their World Cup campaign so far. And with Portugal, again, I look at this team. I think Roberto Martinez, again, is making a mess of this Portugal team. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, you can pick out Ronaldo. You can isolate Ronaldo and whoever for performing X, Y, and Z. But ultimately, I think it's how the manager sets them up. I thought Pedro Neto was the worst player on the pitch. I thought Bruno Fernandes had a really underwhelming game, especially after the big miss in the first half. I don't know why Ruben Neves is starting over João Neves. I don't. You have a player who's won back-to-back Champions League with PSG, and then you have a guy playing in Saudi starting over him. It doesn't make any sense to me. And The inclusion of João Felix is definitely better than Bernardo Silva, but hasn't really been the spark to change the team. Yeah, I just look at this team, with this Portuguese team, and I think they lack an identity. Like, I don't think this team plays to Ronaldo. I don't think they play to Bruno. I don't think they play to Vitinha. I don't think there's any single player that thrives off the strengths of the system. And I don't even think there's a system. I think pretty much Barnes, he just throws out what he believes is his best 11 players and expects them to perform. I don't really think there's an identity to this team. And yeah, I just don't see him going forward just because I think the manager's out of his depth. And I don't think he has a tactical, let's say, experience, creativity, or competence, rather, to make the changes required or implement the changes needed for the Portugal team to actually realize their potential. Because I don't think Ronaldo's an issue. I think there is a way to make Ronaldo work for Portugal, but just throwing out 11 guys on the field or 10 guys plus Ronaldo onto the field and expecting it to just gel just because they're all very good for at club level individually, I just don't think it works. Yeah, just to put that in concisely. Colombia, I think they are improving game by game. Again, like I said, with Colombia, the issue is, can they actually finish off their chances? That will really dictate how far they can go. Again, I don't think they really have a proven goal scorer top. I mean, Luis Suarez had a great season domestically, but still, Munoz, he's a right back, and I still think he's probably their best finisher on their team. So, yeah. And then, where else? Congo, Uzbekistan. Congo need to win. Gets stunned early on through a great finish from Smaradov. Really difficult finish to just chip the keeper like that. Uzbekistan stunned them early on, but then, again, DR Congo get a penalty. Kusanov gives away a penalty. Kusanov, I think he's had a disappointing World Cup campaign. Someone who you think about Uzbekistan, you name one player. Most people just like Kusanov, and they wouldn't know the other 10 guys on the team. I think he's probably been their worst defender, if I'm being honest. And Wissa converts the penalty. Then Congo find the go-ahead goal in the 70th minute. Flick on off a deflected shot, and Wissa with the exclamation point to secure Congo into the next round. Fully deserved. Again, another team not many people gave a chance to. I said, watch out for Congo. I thought they could even top Colombia or Portugal in this group, but, okay, there's a bit of a gap there. That's a bit of overemphasis, but again, watch out for Congo. Again, tough ask against England, but they'll definitely be putting up a fight. Next up, Algeria, Australia, which is definitely the game of the round. I probably said that, I said that about Ecuador, Germany, but maybe for the emotions. But in terms of I guess I don't know. Every World Cup game has emotions, so it's between those two. But yeah, 3-3. Obviously, a lot of history between these two teams historically in the World Cup. But both. And I'm not gonna get into that. You can look it up in Algeria, Australia, I believe, is the E2 World Cup. But yeah. Both teams need a point. I didn't, you go into this game, you wouldn't imagine you risk much. Austria stunned them early on through Arnautovic, and then Algeria find the equalizer right on the edge of halftime through Begali. Mahrez pops up with a goal. Really rolling back to years in this game. Oh, sorry, actually Austria scored before that, Mahrez. And then from there, you thought it was just going to pan out. You thought the game was just going to fizzle out, as both teams weren't going to really risk much. But then Mahrez played in behind, scores the winner to put Algeria ahead. And you thought Austria would get some packing. And for about 30 seconds, I guess 3 minutes exactly, Agron thought maybe they had a slimmer of a hope to go through the knockout rounds. But then Austria find the equalizer through, I'm always going to pronounce it. I'm going to always butcher this guy's name, Kalajic. I always butcher this guy's name. So Kalajic. Yeah. Guys towards ACL. So yeah, huge story for him because I believe he's towards ACL 3 times in his career. He's he's 25 maybe, 28. Yeah. So yeah, massive goal for Austria, and them also to around 32. I don't think Algeria will be too bothered. Actually, if anything, they'll be happier because they got an easier matchup against Switzerland compared to Austria, who's up against Spain. And yeah, moving on to the final game of this group, Argentina guaranteed top, Jordan already eliminated. You saw a rotated team here from Argentina. Lo Celso opened the scoring through a beauty of a free kick. Martinez gets a penalty later on. Jordan actually get a goal through Tomari, and then Messi comes on, scores a free kick. Very questionable goalkeeping from the Jordanian keeper on both free kicks. But Messi continues a scoring streak, and I think he's either broken or tied the record for most consecutive goals scored in the World Cup. I guess as a bonus, maybe we do a team of the tournament, or team of the group, not team of the tournament, team of the group stage. Yeah, why not? Hold on, let me. I'm kind of building this off the top of my head, so you're about to get this kind of live from me. I think we probably have to play three at the back because I think the attackers have really dominated this group so far. So in goal, I mean, Vozinha is probably the name that comes to everyone's mind. I'll give it to him, even though I think against, I think it's Uruguay, he wasn't that great. I'm going to be honest. And if I had to pick another goalkeeper off the top of my head, I probably would go maybe say Allison for Brazil. If I'm being honest, I thought, I just don't think there's been much talk about him, but I think he's also been very solid. But and I don't think Brazil, they've only conceded against Morocco, so they have 2 clean sheets. Yeah. Back line. I could pick the guy from South Africa, but that's a bit of recency bias just because they played today. And not to discredit him, but they've also been fantastic. For me, the best defender I've seen this tournament so far, I'm going to give it to William Saliba. I thought he's been fantastic for France. You could also say Upamecano. I don't want this to be dominated by French players, though, so I'm going to, between Saliba and Upamecano, I'm going to go Saliba. I know he didn't play the game against Norway, but I think in the first 2 games, in Iraq and Senegal, I thought he's been fantastic. I guess there's another boring answer. I'm going to go Van Dijk. I also think has been very good for the Netherlands. Again, I know these are easy names, and maybe I should be a little bit more diverse in the picks, but I'm just going off one thing off the top of my head. Fantastic for Netherlands. Got an assist yesterday. Got the go-ahead goal against Japan. So yeah, I think it's been a good tournament. The only thing with Netherlands you could say is they haven't kept a clean sheet yet, but still, I think they've been performing pretty well, or he's been performing pretty well. This is a bit, I'm cheating a bit, but I'm going to go Munoz. I think he has to be in here. He's definitely been Colombia's best player. Was the difference maker against, got the opening goal against Congo, and then he got the winning goals against, I think, both Congo and Uzbekistan. So I think he has to be here because he's been crucial in terms of how well they've been playing. I know he didn't play against Portugal, but yeah, I'm going to have to put him in. On the right wing, I think, okay, I'm just trying to envision how this team's going to go in my head. I think Dembele has to go here because I have to put Messi in this team. I think Dembele, I criticized him in the first game. I thought he was disappointing against Senegal, but against Iraq got the goal and, one of the performances of the tournament so far against Norway. So I think he has to be. He's on 4 goals. Yeah, the current Ballon d'Or winner, I'm going to have to place him here. In midfield, if it wasn't for this guy, I don't know where England would be. I'm going to go Jude Bellingham. Absolutely fantastic against Croatia. Made a difference against Panama. I think has to be in there. You can say he was disappointing against Ghana, but I think the whole England team was disappointing against Ghana. Another player I want to put in, he technically is a midfielder by trade, but hasn't been playing there this tournament. I'm going to go Saibari for Morocco. I think he's been fantastic this tournament, scoring all 3 games for them in the group stage. Yeah, on the left here, I'm going to go with Vinicius. Has been carrying the Brazil team. I question going to this tournament. Has delivered so far. Has been receiving a lot of praise, rightly so. But for me, if he really wants to elevate himself as this is his Brazil team. Like he is officially the face of Brazil. If he wants to be compared to the grace of, Brazilian national team has had legends like Pelé, R9, Ronaldinho, Romario, even Neymar. If he really wants to be held in that upper echelon of player or be compared to them at least, then for me, he's got to perform in the knockout rounds. He's got to replicate his performances in the most crucial stages for Brazil, especially given the issues in this Brazilian national team. And the front 3 picks itself. Messi, probably been the player of the tournament so far. Fantastic. 3 goals against Algeria, 2 goals against Austria, and a goal against Jordan. Again, at 39 years old, to be still the best player in this tournament, to many people, the best player in the world still. It's incredible. I'm going to put Mbappe off the left. Again, this is his tournament. You know, did he score 2 goals against Senegal? Yeah, 2 goals against Senegal. 2 goals against Senegal. 2 against Iraq. I know he didn't find the back of the net against Norway, but ended up with 2 assists. Even though Dembele is really Dembele. Again, has been fantastic so far. And up top, I'm going to go Erling Haaland. Scored back-to-back braces in his World Cup debut. I didn't play a third game, but yeah, it's been fantastic. There's probably a couple players I'm missing out. I mean, there's 48 teams, so that means there's a lot of players performing. If I had to give any honorable mentions to any players who didn't make it, I maybe give a shout out to a couple of U.S. boys. I'd probably either go say like Freeman, Balogun, have a shout. For Mexico, maybe Quinones. I think he's been great. I'm just trying to go off players who Manzambi also maybe has a shot to be in here. Again, it's hard to make a perfect best 11 given the fact of how many teams, how many players are in this tournament, and we'll see how well this team in the group stage holds firm into knockouts. This video is running a bit long, so I'm probably gonna end it here. Can't wait for knockouts, and we'll see what happens. And I'll catch you for probably a round of 32 reaction, maybe. It might blend to round of 16. I don't know, just because so many games, and there'll probably be a lot more to digest now that the stakes are raised and teams will be crashing out. So, yeah, I'm gonna end it there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.